According to Time.is, it does say that today is International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia, as well as Norwegian Constitution Day.
Oh.
Congratulations to the gays,
Norway.
as well as Norway, I guess. Apparently they eat hot dogs, waffles, ice cream, and the children play playground games. Which, I mean, I guess you could do that for...
any day.
You could do that for any day, but you could do that in celebration of either of those holidays, I guess. You know, it's just like, you know, we stand against hatred by eating some hot dogs. I don't know. Sounds pretty good.
It's innuendo because the hot dogs are penises.
It doesn't no, it's just hot dogs. All right? Sometimes a hot dog's just a hot dog. All right? If
you dare deny?
If they want it to be sexual, it can be, but it doesn't have to be.
You dare deny the influence of sexuality in modern art?
No. It just doesn't have to be. The influence can be there. It just doesn't have to be all the time. Anyway, hi. Hello, everybody. It's me, John. Hi, how's it going? We are here, and we're here to talk about gaming once again. It's the Gamesline Podcast. This is the 90th episode of the reboot. Since we've gotten our name change, that seems kind of... It feels like only yesterday, you know? But it's been like 2 years. Almost more, I think. Jeez.
Yeah, I've been around for barely any of that time.
Yeah.
In comparison.
You've been around for a good amount of time. You need to understand you've actually also been around for a good amount of time.
Gosh, have I? It really does not feel like it's been any time. I don't feel like I know you guys like at all compared to what I should by a long time in.
I don't know what to say. Well, yeah, we're here. I'm here. Hello. It's I'm for those of you who do not know, my name is John. I'm the editor-in-chief of Gamesline, which is a video game website where we talk about just whatever the hell we want to talk about with regards to games. It's mostly, you know, long writing, opinions, etc. We have reviews, we have features, and we have the podcast and video sometimes. Those are the things that we do for the most part. Joining me this time is Nikolas. Nikolas, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty all right. I've got a drink with me. I've got my little Beatrice plushie with me. She's waving her little plushie hand. And we're doing good. We're ready to talk.
Of course. How would you describe your interactions with Gamesline and online as a whole? Like, if you're trying to, you know, you're coming in, you're trying to introduce yourself as a part of this website. What would you say to somebody?
I'd say, hey, I'm that guy who shows up on average like 2 out of the 5 podcasts to talk and give another spot on there. I don't know. I don't write enough for the site. I really am just a guy who hops on the podcast. I've tried, and every time I try writing, it's like, this is just a normal review. I don't have a thesis here. I've got like 2 really big things that I've still been writing that I've been working on for months. They're like big projects, but I don't know how long those will take to finish.
Mm-hmm. Take the time that you need, but we also want to hear it, you know? Anyway, gaming occurred this week. I've been a little stressed out about some personal matters, and nothing that's like deathly or horrible. Just like, you know, worrying about how things will shake out kind of stuff. But that is seemingly lining up. But due to that, I was like, I'm not going to really start any new games or anything. I finished up Resident Evil 4 on Professional. I finished that. I was very close to the end when we last spoke, so I think I finished it the next day. Goddamn, that game is so good. I am so glad that I finished it. I did basically just go right back into it for a little bit just to mess around with the like unlockable weapons and everything, because when you finish the game on Professional, you get the I think it's the PRL, which is that It's like the anti-plagus gun, which basically just you just charge it up and you shoot it, and then it just kills like everything on screen, which is pretty funny. And then I bought the Chicago typewriter, which is the infinite ammo machine gun, and I just ran around and played like half of the game just with that, because you can just like kill all the bosses immediately with all of it, and it's just pretty fun, you know. I did the challenge, I did the hard stuff, and now I'm running through it again to, you know, just to play around. That's what you do for Resident Evil. That's the goal, is just you do the difficult challenge run stuff, and then you hop back in to fuck around. But I also did that a little bit with Resident Evil 7. I played through Resident Evil 7 again a couple of weeks ago. And I do want to go back and actually, because there's unlocks for running through the game quickly, and you can do that on any difficulty. And then there's stuff where it's like then you have to do the hard mode stuff, and then you have to do all the different like side modes and stuff like that. So I might try to do that. I did some of the side challenge stuff. It's pretty funny because one of them is just not as good as I remembered it at all. The one where you play as Chris Redfield, the not a hero one, that one's a little frustrating just because it's really dark. You can't see shit, and it's just frustrating because you can't see anything. But then there's the one where you play as Joe Baker, who is the like brother of Jack, who's like the one of the main monster guy villains. And he's just like completely unaffected by the mold, and he's just running around punching the shit out of the mold zombies. Like, he's just, your main weapon is literally just your fists. And it's really fun, and I did finish that on normal. And then I did a run with, there's like a timed element thing that you can unlock, where it's like you enter an area and it starts to time you, and you have to get through that area within a certain amount of time. So it's not like you're being timed for the entire run. It's just like each combat encounter basically is timed, which I think is a cool way to do that. Because then it also lets you like stop and, you know, resupply a little bit. Like once you run through an area and it says you cleared it, you can turn back around and then take your time picking stuff up. So that's fun. But you unlock, like, for doing that, you unlock a machete that steals health from your enemies. But then there's a hard mode that is very difficult that I tried a little bit of, and then I was just kind of like, this is just kind of miserable because everything takes ages to kill, and it's a little less fun. So I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that, because you just unlock like, what? I think you unlock like infinite ammo for doing that, and then it's like, you already have infinite ammo with your fists. That's not really that interesting. I mean, because you do also unlock, like, a shotgun, so you can get infinite ammo on the shotgun, and I guess also there's, like, spears that you can craft, so I guess you get infinite spears, but that's still not really that interesting. It's not like getting infinite ammo in the main story or anything like that. I do like, in theory, that they're like, yeah, here's these, like, little, like, maybe, like, 3-hour-long side DLC things that they released, that you can unlock stuff for as well if you so choose. Like, that's cute. I like that it's like treated as completely separately. And then there's other things like the banned footage stuff, which those are also really cool. They're also like little mini campaign things. They're way smaller than the other two. Like, one of them is just basically like an escape room. You just have to you just solve some puzzles and get out of a room, pretty much. One of them is just playing blackjack, and you're trying to survive, because if you lose too many hands, then you get killed. And the fun aspect of it is that every once in a while it gives you, like, bonus skills that you can use. So it'll be like, oh yeah, no, you can pop this, they're called like trump cards. You could pop a trump card to like draw an extra card, or discard a card if you know, like, if you draw something that will, like, put you over 21 or whatever, then you can discard it and then draw something else. Or there's even one of the more fun ones is that there's a part where the guy you're up against like just full on cheats where he's like, yeah, I drew like I played a trump card that lets me draw the exact card that I need, and then he plays another one that is literally just your opponent cannot draw any more cards, and then you have to play a card that makes him draw because basically he forced himself to get to 21, and then you have to play something that makes him draw. So he busts and you still win. It's like that's fun. That's a really interesting like way to incorporate that, and it just seems like the kind of thing where they were probably just fucking around and like made a blackjack like mode for whatever reason, and then they're like, hey, we can theme this and put it in the game, and they did, and it's cute. I should do runs of 8, and I still have to finish 9 because I do really love 7 and 8 a whole lot. I mean, I love like every Resident Evil game. I love Resident Evil, but I know that RE8's like special weapon that you unlock is literally a fucking lightsaber. So I wanna use the lightsaber in Resident Evil 8. I don't know what they have in 9. Like I'm guessing they have, because I think every game has the. Actually, no, I don't think 7 has the infinite rocket launcher. I think 8 might have the rocket launcher, but I'm fairly certain 9 has the infinite rocket launcher. But I don't know what else they have in that. Probably another like infinite knives and stuff too, I guess, probably. I mean, those are useful, you so you can parry easier and stuff. But after that, I have been playing Pikmin 4 because I remembered that they did that update where they added fierce mode, and they made it so you could turn off the auto aim, and you can also find the decor Pikmin, which they're just like 4 Pikmin in each area that you can find, and then when you find them, they just get added to your team, and if you're using that color of Pikmin, one of those Pikmin will be wearing that little outfit. And it's really funny because at one point I was just kind of like, if they die, are they just gone? And then there was a moment where one of them died and the game like paused for a second and was just like, it went back to the onion, don't worry. It's like, I just saw it get eaten, but okay. Like, it's, so, I guess just like another Pikmin in there puts on the outfit, I guess. I don't know. But I do at least kind of like that they, because Pikmin are there's 100 of the little guy. Well, eventually there's 100 of them. I do respect that they're like, okay, we're not gonna make it so you're like gonna stop and rewind or restart the day or whatever every time one of your decor Pikmin dies because you don't want to lose it. I at least respect that, because fierce mode. I enjoyed Pikmin 4. I absolutely understand a lot of the complaints that people have about that game, for sure. Nikolas and I both watched that I'm Only Here for Pikmin guy, and I do understand a lot of his complaints about Pikmin 4. I still like it quite a bit. But I also, I understand, if you're coming to that game for more challenging, thought-provoking stuff, 4 is not that, per se. Unless you're doing, like, the Dandori battles and that sort of stuff. Like, that stuff's all really good, because that's all, like, you're going around, you're trying to split up your team, you're trying to make sure that you're not wasting time. That stuff is all really good. It's the general combat and all that's a little boring, and the fierce mode just makes it so the enemies do... I think they just have more health for the most part. I don't even know if they really like do more damage or whatever, but I
think they just have their attack caps removed, because you can't really like do damage in Pikmin, but Pikmin 4 has like really restrictive, like only X amount of Pikmin can die to an attack, and they basically got rid of that, or like made it way more in line with the other games for 4's hard mode, which is basically the closest you can get to doing damage in that series.
Right. But, yeah, I mean, I remember when I played through Pikmin 4 originally, it was pretty quick, just, killing everything and not really worrying too much. But it's not like I'm being like super super challenged, but there's I'm losing Pikmin here and there now, so it's still not 2. Because again, I played 2 earlier this year, and that definitely cemented itself as my favorite by playing through it again. And playing through this one as well is like, okay, yeah, like I do still really like this one, but 2 is just so good, and the challenge does make it feel a bit like more engaging and all that. I really love that game though, and the fierce mode does make it a bit more interesting to engage with. So I would recommend Pikmin 4 still. I think I'm almost. I don't remember how many more areas there are after you rescue Olimar. I think there's just like 1 or 2. I think, right?
But, yeah, there's 2.
Okay, there's 2. Okay, because yeah, I like just did that, and I've been 100%ing. Like I 100%ed the first 4 areas, and I still need to like get like platinum medals on some stuff here and there, but I'm kind of just trying to 100% it as I go. It's not that hard, but it's fun. So that's how you do it. But that's all I've been playing, honestly. Like I kind of got that out of the way just because I've been trying to just stay relaxed because I don't want to. I'll probably have something more to say next week, I bet, if everything goes smoothly. But for now, what have you been up to lately, Nikolas?
What have I been up to? Well, there's one game that I've been playing recently. I haven't finished it yet. Is Castlevania Castlevania Symphony of the Night, because that's been on my backlog for a while. This thing is like 40 plus games, and I need to get something off of here before I like play more stuff that isn't on it. And so I have a friend of mine who I think I've talked about like going through the Final Fantasy games with him before. He tends to do it with other people, and I only joined in 4-8. And I've talked about like how frustrating it can be to play a game like that with people whose first reaction to getting stuck in a game is to turn into Dark Side Phil.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah. So playing a game like this, which is at time not like deliberately obtuse, but is like very not going to directly say things to you. It's like, oh, we're going to hint to you where you need to go next. We're going to put like a library card before this boss fight. So after the fight, you're incentivized to go there and explore around there for progress. Like that sort of subtlety. It's a nice in design, but I can also tell that like when I'm playing it with this friend of mine who is very used to sharing games that he likes with people, he is like, you can tell there's like a trauma, PTSD scars from having to introduce games to people who will turn into Dark Side Phil when they don't know where to go instantly. Because he's been telling me like a bunch of stuff just a little bit ahead of time, not like spoiling anything, but it's a game very based around exploration and discovering stuff for the first time. And
that game's old as hell. I think you're fine. You know, like.
Well, see, I don't like know basically anything about it is the thing, and I'm enjoying like playing a game that I don't know anything about. But like, I had to tell him, like, I don't want you to tell me a bunch of stuff. Like, you don't have to tell me where the save rooms are. You don't have to tell me like rooms I should avoid. I'm fine like having trouble figuring things out. I'm fine having
that's the entire
like
game.
A lot of friction hitting me. Yeah. And it like I'm enjoying it a lot. I enjoy that part of it a lot, and I feel bad because like I can tell that he's not doing this because it's like he thinks these are flaws with the game that need to be fixed or warned about. It's just the fact that this is so common with people experiencing older games for the first time, because like this just isn't the sort of design that a lot of newer mainstream games would do. They like telling you where to go. They like directly stating the solutions a lot. So I think I'm liking this one a lot. I might check out more games like this, though I also know that this isn't what the entire series is like. like, as far as I know, this was the first one in the Castlevania series that was like this. It's mostly like more directly linear before this.
Yeah, there were some like little hints and bits in what was it? Oh my god, I'm blanking so bad right now. The one Rondo of Blood, like a little tiny bit, but it was mostly like branching paths and stuff. But yeah, this is the first one that really hit that. It is the Metroidvania. You know, that is where it came from. And so the other ones that are like that, it's Aria of Blood, or Aria of Sorrow, not Aria of Blood. Aria of Sorrow, Dawn of Sorrow, Order of Ecclesia, Portrait of Ruin. Those are all the ones that are like that. There's also like Circle of the Moon and some Harmony of Dissonance on GBA. And those are more like the old school Castlevania that are more linear, but there's also some like Igavania aesthetics. They're Igavanias because Koji Igarashi was the director for a lot of those. And then yeah, if you also do still like this sort of gameplay and you want to play something, you know, that he, you know, directed afterwards, you know, I mean, Bloodstained is just another one of those too, and it's very good. So yeah, my personal favorite's Portrait of Ruin, but they're all really good.
Yeah, it's I'll have to get through a bunch of this other stuff before I check out more of them, but it is a fun experience so far. I'm not done with the game yet, so I can't have anything exclusive to say on it. I definitely will be done with it by the next time that I'm on here, because I got like directly up to the big inverted thing. What's the courtesy on spoilers for like 20+ year old games on here?
Everyone knows the inverted castle already. You're good.
I try to be as courteous about it as possible.
You're good. I respect it.
When they were doing FF set, like the people going through Final Fantasy that like used to segue into this discussion, when they were going through it, I realized like I got mad at one of them for spoiling that Eris dies, and then I was like, wait a second, that doesn't matter. Every single person in the universe knows this happens. This is the most known spoiler in the history of the medium. Who cares?
There's a little bit of a bummer about that, kinda, but it's also just like, what? Yeah, like, what do you want at this point? You know.
Every single person playing this knows that this happens. Why am I getting upset in any capacity over someone bringing this up? Just because it's the thing that I'm used to doing.
I mean, you know, like part of it is that, like, I don't think you should go out of your way to spoil it for people. And you know, if someone wants to stay unspoiled for something, you know, you should be courteous. But also, like, part of what makes something amazing in a story is how it's done. And, you know, like the fact that they did the inverted castle in Symphony of the Night, the fact that they went, oh, hey, we doubled the length of, well, not even double the length, that we because you get through it a lot quicker. But we added, we did twice the amount of areas in this game just by flipping the map upside down and putting it on top of the original map. Like, that in of itself isn't really what is so awesome about it. It's the fact that they did that, and they, you know, that the original map flipped upside down feels so different. And you're able to progress through that map in a way that doesn't feel awkward. Like, there's times where it's like, oh yeah, no, you can kind of tell that this is, you know, just a room flips upside down. And I mean, you're like that. It feels that way pretty much the whole time. But there's times where it's like, okay, yeah, it's a little wonky to get through here, but the fact that it just works, that they took that into account and it's well designed is incredible. And you can only really get that by playing it.
Yeah, I haven't gotten like any far in the inverted castle. I did like the first few rooms. I do think it's a really strong decision to like make the last room in the castle like above it's this really big room where you're walking across the top basically. So the first room after like the direct transition is this super huge open room just spiraling upwards for you, when that was like basically a transition for if you failed to make a jump beforehand. I think that's a cool way to immediately convey the scale and difference.
It's very cool. What else have you been playing?
What else? Well, there was a game that I did finish recently, and it is Majora's Mask. Now, I've never been like super in line with. So, there's like, I don't know the most eloquent way to put this, but there's this set of games in my head that I've internalized as like olden Nintendo YouTuber games, where it's like if you look up top 10 Nintendo games before semicolon 2012 on YouTube, there's like the same sorts of games that people like praised like crazy back then, at least from my understanding of it, because I'm too young to have like really been the age of those people and interacted with those discussions at the time. So maybe this is false, but I've always gotten the sense that like there's a set of games that people who are at least a little bit older and have an affinity for Nintendo constantly praise, and I've never been super in line with those games, either because I don't really like them a ton, or they're not ones that I've ever had much experience with. Like, if I think about it, like the older Metroid Primes, I've never touched those, but in my head, those are like really popular. Ocarina of Time, I've played a ton because it was a game that I grew up with both on the N64, which was the first console I ever touched, and the 3DS, which was my first ever like personal console that I owned for myself and was at my own home. And I played it a ton, and like I kind of overdosed on it. Like I have no incentive to ever play it again because I've beaten that game like 7 times when I was a kid and retained way more than I probably should have for it. But so there's like early Metroid Primes, Ocarina of Time, Mario 64 is also one of them, I think. Mario Bros 3 is a little old, but like the point is I've never like been super into those games aside from Mario 64, which I really like. And it's been like, I can see why people are super in on them, but I've never really gotten anything super special out of the ones I've played. Like they've just been good games. But I think Majora's Mask is the first one where I've really like gotten that sense of, wow, these people were right on the fucking money with like this being the weird, creepy old Nintendo masterpiece that I see a lot of games. Like there's the one modern video that everyone makes fun of like the quiet sadness of Mario Galaxy, where it's like people trying to overblow this like aesthetic argument and the intent behind it, where it's like, to some degree, I can understand the like praise that these games get, but I like Mario Galaxy. I think the aesthetic and ideas presented within it are intentional because they're tied to like just being in space. It's an aesthetic idea and style that the game is consistently going for because that is the strength that it logically has to play into. But with a lot of those, I still feel like there's enough inconsistency or missed steps in the games for me to like not really get on board with the idea of like, yes, Mario Galaxy is this quiet, somber, beautiful masterpiece, because Mario's also like bouncing around in colorful blocks going wahoo yippee for like 2/3 of the levels in that game, and all of the galaxies that play into that aesthetic are okay, we made a single planet that we're just going to put into the default space skybox with like no music because we didn't have time to make it for this level. But you ever notice that all the galaxies that like people praise being the somber and quiet ones are like the incidental 1-star ones that you don't go to after you get the first thing? It's never like the big long ones outside of space junk.
I mean, I haven't really watched any of those videos. Don't get me wrong. It's
Yeah, I'm just asking about your personal memories of the game, because I feel like maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't remember any of the longer levels like playing into that aesthetic.
No, not at all, I would say. It's just, yeah, I think there's moments of, calm and tranquility, I would say, but it's not the entire game.
Yeah. But so I'm playing Majora's Mask and seeing that the game, because the thing everyone like says Majora's Mask is that okay, it's this story about like the ideas of knowing you are going to die. It's a story about the ideas of like what it means to grow up. It analyzes Link as a character as a direct result of being a follow-up to Ocarina of Time, and it ended up being a lot more emotionally vulnerable because of the stresses and time that like related to its own development of like how they were having nightmares about the game and then just putting those in the game. And it's really it's really interesting and really satisfying to like play the game and actually get that constant sense of the game is designed for the sake of its like narrative ideas and aesthetic. Like, it's very intelligently put together. Everything feels like it serves some specific function with the ideas and themes it's trying to convey, because like they have the gameplay basis pretty strong from Ocarina of Time. They added the transformation mask, but aside from that, it's like very streamlined and simple in comparison, because it's mostly just like item reuse and asset, which is a good thing. I like that a lot. And it feels like they made a story out of the fact they had to reuse everything and we're on a time crunch is basically how I put it. And that's smart. It's fun to see that they were able to make such a gripping and interesting like world and story while also not like saying a whole ton directly. Because like with Tingle, like he exists as a representation of like, well, obviously they don't say it directly, but like he's this weird man child pretending to be a fairy, and it's like, oh, this makes sense as like this is Link's own sort of internalization or like fears of what he is, because he had to grow up and he's stuck as a kid who's desperately looking for his fairy friend. Like, that's really cool. And they're able to convey that idea really strongly without saying anything. And I respect that a lot. Like, I've never been a guy to really get into Zeldas for the gameplay. I don't play them a whole ton. I think the only ones I've played are Ocarina of Time, A Link Between Worlds, Spirit Tracks, Breath of the Wild, and now this. And this one really, like, it gripped me in a way that none of the other ones have, because it feels like it's saying, well, not like saying, but like, it just is such an evocative and striking world to be in. And I really like that about it. And I think it's just, I wish I had like a stronger point to make with Majora's Mask independently, but it's very nice to just get enraptured in the game and just experiencing it, and like finally having one of these that I can play through. And it's like, you know what? All the people on YouTube years ago were right about this one. Hell yeah.
It's a very neat game. It's very different. It's very neat.
It is very neat. It is a shame that whenever I've asked like one of my friends, like, you know what? I really liked Majora's Mask. Are there any other Zeldas you recommend for that sort of feel? The answer is always no. That's why Majora's Mask is awesome.
Yeah, none of them. Sorry. This is an outlier.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 13-3. Lightning Returns. Or is it 3 or 2? I don't remember. One of them is a Majora's Mask like. So yeah, there's a Final Fantasy 13 sequel that is similar. That's the best answer I have for you.
My friends desperately wants me to play the first 13 game, but there are like 6 other Final Fantasies I gotta get to before that one.
That's the only one that I finished, and it's just
the only Final Fantasy period, or the only 13?
The only Final Fantasy period that I have finished.
Really?
I've played a few other ones, but I've never finished any of the other ones. I 100%ed Final Fantasy 13, and I just think it's okay. I'm sick. I don't know what to tell you. I bought copies for 360 super cheap, and then I saw that they boosted it on Xbox Series. It looks really good on Xbox. Don't get me wrong, it does, but I don't know. It wasn't for any particular reason. It just kind of happened. I own a lot of other ones. I just gotta sit down and play them. I don't know.
You should do that.
I should. Right. Anything else you'd like to discuss, or shall we go to the news?
Let's go to the news.
All right, fantastic. We have some horrible news for you, everybody. The worst possible thing that could ever happen has happened. SEGA has announced that they have canceled the Super game.
The new Alex Kidd isn't going to come out.
I have no idea. I don't think it was Alex Kidd. I think it was some kind of live service game
that was going to be on phones and nothing
I don't think
they really had no idea what it was. This is just stockholders. This is what they want to put their money into. We're going to make something up.
I don't think they ever announced if it was specifically going to be a mobile game. But yeah, this was going to be a big live service game that they were claiming was going to somehow lean on their old franchises. But 5 years after it got announced, they have canceled it. They blamed the poor performance of the game Sonic Rumble Party, as well as how when they bought Rovio, they haven't really gotten anything from that, which, no shit.
Because they make Angry Birds and also are destroying themselves while making Angry Birds.
Yeah, has there been like a new Angry Birds game in I don't know. It's super weird. I don't know anything about what's been going on.
What they've been doing, it seems, is they soft launched Angry Birds games in a bunch of places. And then they just most of them, they just quietly kill after soft launching it. Sometimes they stay up, but I don't know what they want from their games is the thing. It feels like they're basically, because there was a time where every other month they were okay, we've released a new Angry Birds. And then they roll a 100-sided die to determine what mobile game genre it is. We've released a new that of Angry Birds, and then they release it in 8 countries. And then 3 months after, it's we are now delisting Angry Birds Clash of Clans from the App Store. And they just do that over and over. The last game that I can think of that's actually stayed up and consistent was just an updated re-release and merging of the older games that they've taken down from Steam.
Sure. Very strange, but they have been putting Angry Birds characters into Super Monkey Ball and Sonic Racing. So that's the extent of what Sega has done with the franchise is just, I don't know, the red bird is in Sonic Crosswords, I guess.
To be fair, I do play the red bird in the Sonic Racing Crossworlds because it is really funny that they spend that much money to put them in.
It's very funny. They did pay $776 million.
Well, I'm happy to play as the red Angry Bird if they're going to put that much money into it. I don't see any reason not to.
There is supposed to be another movie at the end of this year, which who the fuck is watching an Angry Birds movie in 2026?
I do remember the Angry Birds movies not being all that bad for licensed kids movies. There's a couple pretty good jokes in there.
I remember it being strangely offensive I haven't seen it, but I remember some people saying yeah, this game is very, or not game, this movie is kind of, if you look at it not even that closely, but you're just this movie is very much an anti-immigration film if you think about it for 15 minutes. It's oh, that's not good.
My theory about it is that the movie wasn't really intended to function at that at all, but it ended up releasing like within 2 months of Zootopia, which is a movie that is very about political inequality and issues. And people were like, look, like that was the most recent animated movie in the cultural zeitgeist. And then Angry Birds movie comes out. And while it's obviously just supposed to be like, oh, this is just like they're coming up with a way to justify pigs versus birds being a thing because that's in the game. And the Last Kids movie is like about racism and police inequality. So it's like, oh yeah. And it was also 2016 when like immigration was obvious, like the big political issue because there was that whole candidacy going on.
Yeah, I mean, I specifically remember it being like, you know, one of those things where it's like, oh, the pigs are coming over and they're taking over all of our, you know, jobs and land and they're going to push us out. And, you know, even the ones that seem like they're nice are just trying to push their agenda. And it's like, oh boy, okay. But I think that was the first one. I don't know about the second one. I don't know jack shit about the second one.
Two basically undid that. Like, I think two was
I feel like they kind of had to because they were like, oh shit,
we released that first movie the worst possible time. We gotta fix it. We gotta like actually care about this as a message now.
I could see them doing it on accident and then just being like, oh no, we accidentally signed off on a lot of hate crimes. So they had to amend that. But now it's like, what are you doing with the third one? What? Okay.
They're giving the Flapjack guy work. They're letting him direct something.
Oh. Okay. I mean,
he did the second movie.
Oh. Okay. That's something, I guess. Yeah, is there anything about a plot? I'm trying to see if there's like any plot details that have been released yet. Yeah, the cover or the poster for the third Angry Birds movie is just the logo, and then it's surrounded by all the celebrity voice actors. Like there's just there's like 20 names just surrounding a 3, and that's it.
You haven't seen the single tweet that discusses any amount of plot in the movie from discussing film? It's
Mr. Beast is in this movie.
No, it's just it just says red fucked and has a kid in Angry Birds 3 from the actual discussing film. That's the only plot we know.
Is this true? One of Kanye's kids is playing the son?
I don't know about that, but
that's
maybe
what it
Mr.
says.
Beast is playing
Psalm
the son.
West. I don't know who Psalm West is. Northwest, Saint West, Chicago West, and Psalm West. So yeah, this kid's like 7. It's Kanye's 7-year-old kid is gonna be Red and Silver's son in this film, according to Wikipedia.
They're making this movie to get away from him. So
I mean, Kim broke up with him a while ago, so
your
I don't
dad's
know.
been tweeting too much stuff. I don't know which one of them got the kids. I don't keep up with.
Yeah, it's one of Kim's
particularly.
It's one of Kim's kids apparently. But yeah, Mr. Beast is there too. Wow.
I don't know actual real world politics. I talk on a podcast about video games. An Angry Birds movie.
Tim Robinson's in this too, which I mean, you know, if they need a guy who yells to be funny, as much as listen, I do really like Tim Robinson stuff, but also if they're just like, hey, that guy yells, we can have him in our kids movie and he can yell. I guess I don't know.
I mean, there's so many people they could get to yell and be funny. They could get Connor O'Malley in the movie. I mean, they have Smosh and Mr. Beast. It's not like
Tim Robinson is like 1 degree away from Connor O'Malley, so there's a non-zero chance that he's in this film and they just haven't announced it yet. I don't fucking know. Who fucking cares? We need to stop talking about the Angry Birds movies. What we need to talk about is how SEGA did not cancel the other things that they announced around the same time as the Super game, which were all those reboots for their old games series that they announced. which I guess one of them that they announced was Shinobi, which was that Art of Vengeance game that came out a little while ago, which was good from what I've heard. But they also said that they are going to do Jet Set Radio, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, and Crazy Taxi. They said that all of these are still in production. No word on when those will be released, of course, but I don't know. This is a very odd thing. Sega seems like they're trying to adjust and be a bit more normal and not lean on live service, which is what all game companies should be doing, because live service games are, for the most part, pretty bad.
Yeah.
Some of them can be decent, but, you know, the chasing after that is bad. You shouldn't be doing that.
Well, I mean, the last one they put out was a baby Sonic Fall Guys with 10 FPS frame rate, so I don't know if I'd trust them to the super game to pull through.
Yeah. And our last bit of news here that we decided to talk about here is that, folks, if you recall a couple months ago now, Katsuhiro Harada left Bandai Namco. Well, we found out why he did that, and that's because he started up a new studio under SNK, which, all I have to say about that is, that money ain't gonna last forever. The Saudi Arabia's running out of fun money because they're in the middle of a bunch of wars. Like, get ready. I don't fucking know. Like, it sucks. It's just called Versus Studio SNK. They didn't announce anything else other than that it's, going to be fighting games or whatever. All the Saudi influence is still clouding everything, but right now I'm just looking at this and I'm just like, dude, this feels like jumping into a pool that has been like this like, it's like the lifeguard has told everybody that someone peed in the pool and then he jumped in like 15 minutes after that.
My favorite.
Like, he's well aware. Yeah, like, oh yeah, here we go. Just not smart, not good, and I'm just kind of waiting to see how this shakes out, because it's probably not going to be good, and I don't know. It's like, as much as I enjoy Tekken and all that, but it's frustrating to see and sad, and also there's a little bit of Schadenfreude involved, and I would like Saudi Arabia to not be doing this stuff. I would like for warmongering governments to not be involved with things that I enjoy. I mean, I would like for them to not exist at all, but
that is beyond either our ability.
Yeah, as a video game podcaster, the most I can do is say that this is stupid and sucks, and you probably shouldn't buy their games. And I mean, so far it hasn't really been that difficult from what I've seen. I mean, I feel like some people like the new King of Fighters, but Mark of the Wolves, the new Mark of the Wolves, or City of the Wolves, that game just seems bad. So I don't know why. Like, it's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, it doesn't seem very difficult to boycott them. Much like the Xbox thing, where, like, again, I don't want to talk too much shit here. Whenever I see people posting about, like, why are you talking about Xbox? Aren't they supposed to be on the boycott list? Most of the time when people are talking about Xbox, they're talking about how friggin' cringe they are. Like, I don't think you have to worry that much about it. Everyone's saying that they suck ass. So don't sweat it, okay?
Yeah.
Alright, is there any other news things that you would like to discuss, or shall we wrap this up with some questions?
I think it's fine to wrap it up.
Alright. If you want to send in a question, there's a few ways to do so. You can go to our Blue Sky account, which is gamesline.net. It's at gamesline.net, because if you just type in gamesline.net, you'll just go to the website. But if you're on Blue Sky and you search up at gamesline.net, that's us. You can reply to us on there if you want. We also have a thread in our Discord server, thegamezone.zone, where you can send in a question there, and that's probably the best place to send them, honestly. And you'll sound like this. Aspiring Shoulder asks, who would you have composed your personal leitmotif? Who? It's because, like, I don't want something that's, like, epic. Like, I don't think I'm fucking epic. I think I'm fun. I'm inviting. I need a song that's fun and inviting.
I get Grant Kirkhope for that.
I don't feel like a Grant Kirkhope kind of... I don't know. That's, like, a little too bubbly. I'm not bubbly. Have you thought of one, perhaps? For yourself?
Not really.
No? I mean, if I was gonna be a little stinker, maybe Masafumi Takada. I think I could fit that. Like, if he was just like, hey, give me something that's like kind of like Monokuma's theme. I think that would fit me. Hell, I could see it. This is kind of a shitty answer, but I'm just gonna say this. I think that if we were like as a collective, the entire site, I think we all should have Masafumi Takada songs made for us. I think he could do all of us justice separately.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You can, like, answer Masafumi Takada for this question, and it's like, oh, so that could be, like, any style of song. I think he is probably my favorite game composer.
He's up there, but
so good at so much.
I was more specifically saying, like, in the Danganronpa style, because, like, if we're gonna start bringing in, like, No More Heroes stuff, like, that is very, very, very different, and it's also very, very good, and I love those songs, but I don't know, like, as much as I love the soundtracks for No More Heroes, I don't think that I fit that more. I think I fit more something in like, a Danganronpa kind of aspect, for sure. But yeah, I mean, do you have another answer, or shall we move on?
Nah, I think Masafumi's good.
Okay. And lastly, we have one from Crystal. Thank you, Crystal, for sending in a question, who asks, what's the oldest game you have a fondness for? I have to look up when two games came out to see which one's older, because I have an easy answer. Okay. One of my favorite games of all time is the arcade game Galaga. That is from 1981. I fucking love Galaga a lot. It's an easy answer, but it is my answer. I could play Galaga every single day and not be bored whatsoever.
I don't really have a ton of affinity for super older games. Like, my answer would probably just be something on the SNES.
Well, then what is it?
Probably Chrono Trigger. That's the first one that comes to mind. It's a very boring answer. It's like the most generic old game to have an affinity for.
Yeah.
I think it's good. It's the first one that comes to mind. There's probably better.
It's an excellent game. But also, don't limit yourself. Play older stuff. You know what I got into for a hot minute? Because I did not know that this game existed until Maverick, like, made a joke about it. And then once he said it, I tried it because I thought it would be funny, and then I actually kind of liked it. Is the Atari game Oink?
Oink?
You play as the three little pigs, and the wolf is, like, firing a beam at your house, and you have to continuously, like, put bricks into where the wolf is firing his beam. And it kind of sucks ass, but it's also kind of fun in, like, a really weird, frantic way, because it's an Atari game, and that's just kind of how those are. So I'd recommend just trying some old Atari games here and there. Give it a shot. Like Oink. It's Oink with an exclamation point. So you have to say Oink when you say it.
Oink.
Oink! But, Chrono Trigger's a great, great game. So that is a perfectly valid response. I mean, like I said, I would recommend check out old stuff. Just see what vibes with you. Like, I do think that there's a lot of stuff that's older that you're going to bounce off of because it's just a little frustrating to interact with now that you've interacted with, a lot of quality of life updates and all that. But I think to be a good critic, you should have knowledge of the past as well. I am HO. Well, that should do it. Thank you, Nikolas, for being on here. And thank you for listening. If you want to continue to support us, we have our website, which is gamesline.net, where things will be posted. I just posted an article this past week that I think folks check out, where I wrote about nostalgia and Pokopia and the film True Stories, and how I think that nostalgia isn't always bad, that it can be used for good if it's not just sat upon, if you actually use it to do something in your life. That is what I think. And I would recommend reading that, because I worked very hard on it. And you can do that on the website, gamesline.net. You can follow our Blue Sky, which is also gamesline.net, like I said previously. We have our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@thegamesline, where we're uploading, the podcasts, as well as there should be a VOD for Lily got the Steam controller, and we watched her play some games with it, and that was fun. And that VOD should be up soon. But if you want to watch more stuff like that live, it's on twitch.tv/GameslineTV. I don't know what we're going to do next, but that is there. That is an option. And if you want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/Gamesline. We ask for $3 a month. You can always give more, but $3 a month is our limit, I suppose, where you can support us. We have been doing a monthly roundup post, now, as well as we should be getting back to the anime podcast soon. We keep talking about it. I'm gonna harass them soon. I'm gonna start yelling. I'm gonna start screaming. I'm gonna start pushing. We'll figure it out. And if you want to come to our Discord server, it is thegamezone.zone. Type that into your web browser. It'll bring you straight there. It'll give you an invite to the server. You can hang out with us. You can chat. You can ask us stuff for the podcast. You can do whatever you want, other than anything bad, because then we'll ban you. But if you're normal, come on down. And thank you to Melt Channel/Magic Circuit for our theme song Crush off of the album Magic is Real. If you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com or magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. And as always, I recommend that you purchase any music off of Bandcamp on the first Friday of every month, because that is when Bandcamp Friday is, and the artist gets more of a cut. Nikolas, where can people find you?
People can find me at cersicactus.bsky.social. And I also, just a couple days ago, started putting my art on Newgrounds. It's just a play, because one of my friends told me how it works, so I'm just going to be uploading my art there. I don't know if I post anything distinct on there, so just B-Sky is fine, since that's where I taught and most of my friends are anyway. But I don't know if you like Newgrounds at all. I don't imagine the average person listening to this does. I'm on there too.
I think it's a good option. And you can find me on Blue Sky as well. That'll be john.gamesline.net. And also, if you type in john.gamesline.net into your web browser, it does just forward you to my page on the site. So you can see all the stuff that I've been up to. But that should do it. Thank you all for listening, and we will be back with another episode of the Gamesline Podcast. So long.
Bye-bye.